Right. Well, we're
because he
going
was
live.
liked. Although most of the people in Denver didn't like him because he's one of these East Coast jerks, if you know what I mean. They can be
What are
Bruce.
you talking about? What do you mean,
Hey, you
jerk?
understand the East Coast guys like you, like me.
Hey,
We
fuck you,
can
man.
get,
We ain't no
we
fucking
can
jerks
be,
here. What the fuck are you talking
we can
about with
be,
jerks?
we can
You
be a
shut the
little,
hell up with that
we
jerk
can be a
business.
little short. I don't have to wait till you stab me in the back. I'm going to hate you from the very beginning.
And speaking of people who hate East Coast jerks,
Hey, Mars.
Well, I said
It's
I don't hate.
your East Coast jerks here.
Wait, who is you?
Yeah, me and Johnny.
Mars every week is surrounded by a pair of East Coast jerks.
Didn't
It's
even know
okay.
that. Of course, I've been
I lived
away
in
from there for a while.
I lived in North Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana for a while, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, but the closer you get to New York City, the bigger jerk you can be.
Okay.
But
Hey, after
anyways-
all, I grew up in Connecticut, right?
Let's see.
Well, you're one of those upper class jerks.
Not necessarily.
Anyways, we're here for another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
the show. that
Insert
changes
jerks
names.
here.
So insert jerks here. This is the name of the show this week. We put a placeholder in. So this week you're tuning to insert jerks here. We got two jerks and a nice guy, and you all get to figure out who's who. And
And a super nice guy.
yeah, but we are here. You're here, and we're all gonna listen and tune in. And is Sparky Toaster here yet?
Are you on Twitch?
I should be.
Yeah, I guess. Well,
Did-
let
don't
me
see this.
connect. Let me
I
connect.
I believe I am. StreamYard is set to stream to my Twitch
Uh,
channel.
Don't. look
Whether or not
around.
it's working, I don't know. But I set the setting. Yeah, we're on Twitch.
Okay.
I see Brian's
Did I
goofy face on the
unfollow you?
Twitch feed. I think so.
Okay. Well, I guess I don't get to see Sparky today. I'm sorry, Sparky. I've unfollowed Twitch apparently, and I can't find Gator, so I'll just have to deal.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's twitch.tv/JohnnyGators.
Yeah, I know I can look for it that way, but
Yeah, and my Twitter feed says that there's a sale on a super deluxe set of level 42.
Oh, there's a
10
skunk
CD
playing
box
Back
So
to
I
set.
the
gotta
Future,
zap my volume down before I hear this commercial.
oh, there you are.
Let's see, basketball hoop. What the hell
You
is
now
this?
have one person watching.
I think some of these ads are kind of stupid. Like, what are you
Okay.
talking about?
Basketball.
I don't know. Well, I don't usually turn the sound on for Twitch, so
We're playing basketball in the ad.
it probably is basketball. I keep seeing the
Remember
Shaq-a-Roni
the
pizza.
why. Oh, it's Adidas.
Adidas.
I guess they just showed the emblem. They never said the name. I think that's stupid.
Chat.
Now, is that with 2 Ds or 1?
There.
Good question.
Oh, it's
Let me show you what I'm wearing.
It's both. Oh, you're wearing the comfy slippers.
Yep.
So,
I'm still
anyways-
looking at the Twitch channel, so I had to wiggle it around.
There,
before
that's
I
apparently the
see it.
emotes I've been collecting this week.
There we go.
Don't ask.
Oh.
Or you can if you want.
You got some wavy things and some wagging tails and
Yeah, that's basically it.
Is that a hand rubbing something?
Yes, that's a tail.
A hand rubbing the tail.
Oh, I am
Yes,
following you.
yes.
Now
It's
is
called
that
tail
is that
pet.
is that hand rubbing the tail or spanking the tail?
Well, it might be both, considering the VTuber I follow, but I think it's rubbing the tail.
I don't know. That looks
It looks a little suspicious.
it looks a little suspicious.
Yeah,
Chipped
Gators, I'm gonna warn
any
you.
one
I warn you.
tail?
I warn you. I follow 98% VTubers on Twitch. That's what I use Twitch for VTubers.
No, it's too bad we never got Venison to sign up a Twitch channel for Yiffer. 'Cause
Oh, he would have been very excited about
Giffer
that.
had a nice furry tail.
He
And,
would have very much a lot. He could have put his own Twitch emotes up there. He could
Yeah.
have had he could have had a lot of followers. There are a lot of furries on Twitch. I'm just letting you know. There are a lot of furries on Twitch.
There are a lot of furries on
Yeah,
Twitch.
yeah. A lot of VTubers. They have the hashtag and they have a bunch of things, and maybe some even have hashtag.
And Sparky Toaster
Oh,
is
Sparky.
in the house.
He's yo-yo-yos.
Sparky.
Now, technically, toasters have tails too, because the power cord could double as a tail.
Well, would it
if
have two
toasters
tails
are
with
alive.
his USB or just one?
There is no USB toaster. There's just a box.
There's a USB coffee warmer you can hook to your computer. So if you
Yeah.
put a piece of toast on bread on it, maybe you could make it toasty. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. USB doesn't make enough sparks to make toast.
I don't know about that, sir.
I
I
don't
don't know
think
about that.
I don't know. All right, I challenge anyone
Yeah.
to come up with a method of making toast involving
What about USB-C? I can get freaking 100 watt on USB-C.
Now, Sparky points out there's a UPS toaster.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I have.
UPS toaster.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like the
There's-
PS2 port.
I don't know what that is.
It's a PS2 port, like your mouse and your keyboard, the old ones, the roundies.
UPS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did order some chemicals today that have to be delivered by UPS because the United States
Oh.
mail will not deliver that stuff. I made
They won't
another-
deliver it.
No,
Are you having some kind of explosive or final material delivered?
Well, yeah. Well, when you develop film, you have to order some dangerous stuff and handle some dangerous stuff.
Or are you doing more beer developing?
Well, no. I'm trying to get into stuff that works better than beer. So because I tried to do a test strip of that found film, and I couldn't get any picture off of that cart.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure. But then again, keep in mind that cart.
Oh, you
was-
could get anything off the things you got off the internet?
Well, mind you, that's only one of the 3 carts that I was playing with,
Oh.
and I can't get anything off of that one. But there are, and it very well just may be that cart has nothing good on it. It was exposed many years ago, and it's sat in who knows what conditions.
I'm sorry to hear that. I was excited.
But there's still another 2 carts to play with, and there's still other methods I can play with. So I want to.
But no
so
one
I was
else has shot footage, though, right?
What's that?
No one else has shot footage, right?
Well, there's 2 exposed carts that.
Oh,
I
there's
don't
2
know
of
what's-
them. So you had a 50-50. You have one chance more.
I got 2 more chances. There were 3.
Ooh, nice.
I can't get anything off of the one, but there's another 2, and those are Ectochrome. But the thing is that while I was trying to get something off of that Kodachrome cart of the found film, and I couldn't get anything off of it, I set up the tripod and I took a movie of myself doing that, and then I developed that movie, and nothing came out on that cart either. And I think what
Oh.
it is that this film is so expired that it only works under daylight settings, that a camera light indoors
Oh, so
was
everything's
not,
black, or
well, it was very faint, barely any contrast.
sorry about the booming. My mic is
so-
my mic stands have problems.
So I've decided, and then plus I've been trying to do the reversal developing using the hydrogen peroxide based bleach method, which can be very finicky and result in blistering the emulsion. So
Yeah.
the guy who kind of gave me the instructions how to do that said, well, you should use a pH tester, and you should get the pH, add enough glacial acidic acid to your bleach to get the pH down to around 3. Well, my pH tester that I got from Amazon said that the pH was about 5.5.
Aren't you supposed to have like pH 6 or 7 for fish? Is that how that goes?
Well, yeah, but this ain't fish. This is film. So
It's close enough. It's
I mean-
it's 3 letters.
There you go.
It's 2 out of 4 letters. That's about half of them. So half of 6 is 3. So that's why the pH should be 3.
Oh, that's
So,
right. There's
yeah.
2 letters. Oh, you're almost halfway there. You're close.
Well, what do you call a fish without eyes?
Dinner?
Fish.
Yeah.
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 That is. Fish.
Yeah.
That is a fish without.
Yeah. Okay, Sparky. Did, did did you like my answer to his question, or did you like Gator's answer to his riddle?
Now, Sparky writes in, if you pee on a pH strip, will it tell you if you have diabetes? I don't know. but Sparky likes yours. Your answer better. Sparky, not a fan of fish.
No.
But, no. So, anyways, I could not. So, I was trying to mix up a batch of bleach to do a reversal development of the role that I shot myself developing the other film. And the pH meter would not read at anything lower than like 5.4, and I'm just adding more and more glacial acidic acid. So I don't know if I have a bad batch of acid that's not acidic enough, or if I have a bad pH tester.
Wait, you want your pH to go down?
Yeah.
Don't you put a base in that for that? Not an acid?
Acid has lower pH, base has higher pH.
Okay.
Right? I'm pretty sure
I
because
thought it was the other way around. I haven't messed with phenolphthalein in a long time. I've not tested the fish tank, so.
pH less than 7 are acidic, while pH greater than 7 are alkaline.
Okay.
Yeah, because like your urine is like acidic, and that's like around a 6.
Are you
or
sure?
something like
It could
that.
be base.
No. Less than 7's acid, higher than 7's alkaline.
Oh.
Slightly
Well,
acidic.
What if I'm peeing base? Is there a problem with me?
Look, I'm
If
not a doctor.
if you're P base, you need to join a blues band.
Wow, that's gonna be a very messy set. Nice, perfect.
So, anyways, I've decided I am giving up on the hydrogen peroxide bleach. So I just try to
Oh,
develop
no.
it as a negative. But so today I decided I need to figure out why this went so wrong. So now I had my found film that I can't get images off of. I have the new roll that I shot indoors under a light that nothing's coming out, and I think it's because that the film is so expired that it needs daylight in order to get an image, but that's a theory. So now it's like I need to test things and figure out these theories. So I've decided I'm going to take a cart. I'm going to shoot some indoors. I'm going to shoot some outdoors. I'm going to shoot some more outdoors. I'm going to shoot some more indoors, and then I'm going to take that cart, and I'm going to split it in half.
A cart with wheels?
A cart of film, a film cartridge.
I know. I was just
Not an
Going with
8-track, a film.
You're on a roll for a while there. I mean, your peeing bass thing
Yeah.
was solid, but
Yeah, that's fine.
hey,
Solid.
some works and some don't, right?
so that was some solid gold bass peeing. So that was
Yeah.
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 Don't no golden shower jokes though.
You know, I was not gonna say anything, sir. God. I was trying to keep this show PG-13 at least.
Oh, you don't think 13-year-olds are up to that?
They're totally up
Aye.
to that.
I hope not. I
don't know what the kids are doing these
the-
days. You
no.
know? For all I know, that could be the
No.
thing. I
That's-
Fart jokes, anyway, right?
yeah.
Yeah, see?
That did not even cross Sparky Toaster's mind.
See, Sparky's a pure mind. He doesn't think of that stuff at all.
Yeah. But
Good
anyways,
guy. Good guy.
so I've decided if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. So I'm going to do a test cartridge under different circumstances and split it in half. I bought some actual Kodak developing fluid to do a black and white negative development.
Wow.
And then I also ordered some the proper ingredients to make a sodium dichromate based bleach, which is some toxic stuff but makes a better bleach that doesn't like blister your film. But you got to put on rubber gloves and a mask and goggles when you're mixing the stuff up. Oh, and sulfuric acid, of course. And
You do this in the basement?
Oh yeah.
You have an easy way to ventilate it?
I got a window right there.
It's okay. He just breathes it in. It's fine. It clears the lungs.
No, you don't
It
want to.
you know that sulfuric acid clears the asbestos from the attic
Well,
right out.
But the sodium dichromate powder, you don't want to breathe any of that in.
No.
Even a
No, you'll
little
die.
bit can
Yeah.
mess you up apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I'm gonna.
But you know
so-
what? I'll bet you your lungs will develop really nicely on a CT scan.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the best
Yeah.
jokes so far.
There.
Oh,
So,
you win.
anyways,
You win the show today, Mars.
so
And we've only been in it for what, 15 minutes?
so I got a bunch of toxic chemicals on their way to my house, courtesy of UPS ground shipping. So we got that
Because
to,
USPS doesn't want to do anything toxic.
UPSPS does not want to touch this shit. No, that's got to come UPS ground.
Can you get sulfuric acid delivered in the mail?
I don't. This website says when ordering this, select UPS ground shipping, or your order will be canceled.
Oh,
Like they
okay.
didn't build the logic into the site, and I think
Yeah,
you know,
they just kind of give it flat out, don't do it.
I
Yeah.
think this is good that they didn't build the logic into the site to automatically only give you appropriate choices, because if you can't read instructions and pick the right choice, that's a good way to filter out the people that you don't want to send sulfuric acid and sodium dichromate to. So if you can't make the right choice, then probably.
Yeah, do you think the FBI is watching?
It might be.
I don't?
Probably
I don't,
It's probably
don't-
monitoring no matter what.
I
There's
don't
always things out there.
I don't think these are chemicals for developing film, not
Yeah.
building implements of destruction. No one has said anything about building bombs yet.
No.
Okay, now the FBI are listening.
Right.
Hello.
I didn't do it. I'm just sitting here. The worst thing I've done today is play with an AI bot on the internet. I'm fine though.
Oh. Can it have sex?
I haven't tried.
No, well, for science, we have to try.
I mean,
this.
I've been playing with this AI bot for like
What AI
5
bot?
days straight.
What AI bot are you playing with?
I think it's chat.ppm or ppt, something like that.
Chat.ppm?
I think that I don't know. It's chat something.
Chat.
It's
something
been up
bot.
yesterday. It was down. It got hammered hard yesterday. Everybody's playing with it.
I know that if you try to have sex with the replica, it will charge you money. So
Really?
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this
yeah,
a
if-
Leisure Suit Larry?
So Dune writes in. So did I hear he effed up the found film? No. I tried to get something out of one of the 3 carts, and it just, I did all the right things. I tried test strips. I tried different timings and things like that. There's nothing on that.
Oh,
cart.
how many strips did you do?
Well, I did 3 different times on a test strip, and nothing came out on
the
any
same
of those
one?
times. Well, that's how a test strip works. You take it in a dark room, and
Yeah.
you take a strip,
Is
and
it
you
just litmus? Was it litmus?
You develop it.
you submerge an end of it.
Yeah.
You time it for 2 minutes. You lower it a little bit. You time it for 2 minutes. You drop it in there. You time it for the rest of the developing time, and that way you have like
So
3
you
different-
get multiple tests out of a single
so,
strip.
and that way you can compare them side by side. And it just this card is not developing anything transparent. It is just pretty much just black, dark. So I don't think there's any hope for that cart.
Maybe they filmed darkness.
That's the thing. I don't even know who shot this cart, what they were shooting. It could have been an error in the car. It could have been a bad cart to start with. It could have been in a bad camera. Dude could have forgot to take the lens cap off. Could have been stored.
Dune.
No, a dude.
Dude
Dude or
Dude's
Dune?
in the house.
Dude. Hey, Dune.
So that is why I am starting to do some more experimenting by ordering more chemicals and trying more things to get some more tools in my arsenal.
So then you
of
cut
developing
another strip and
options.
you do some more testing.
Perhaps, but I'm probably
Yeah.
not going to bother more with that cart because I'll probably turn my attention to the Ektachrome carts. I could do some test strips with the Kodak film on those, the Kodak fluid on those.
What is this one that you were testing?
It was a Kodachrome cart. I was trying to do it black and white.
No, I don't know which one.
Oh, Kodachrome, and now you're switching to Ektachrome.
Well, I'm playing with a bunch of. I'm still gonna play. I'm gonna play with some blank Kodachrome carts to see, because I tried to shoot a roll of Kodachrome while I was developing the Kodachrome, the film Kodachrome, and that cart did not come out. But I think it was because I was shooting it indoors under camera light, and it just, the film is too.
The train light.
Yeah, and I think a train light is not as much light as daylight. As bright as that light is, it's not like the sun. And so I think that my Kodachrome, my expired Kodachrome, is only good outdoors under sunlight, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's why I want to do some more testing and experimenting.
I'm sorry. Why don't you just step out the door?
Well, when I shot this card, I was shooting something indoors, and it was also night out.
Oh, because it's night, right?
But I'm going
That's because all of the daylight hours you are working.
Well, that's when I was developing some film one evening. I wanted to shoot a movie of myself doing this, so I set up a tripod. In theory, the film should work under a camera light. But so now I need to figure out why this cart didn't come out. If it was a bad cart, or if this film just is only good under daylight now.
And you just couldn't get the pH low enough to.
Or
do
if
the
my
developing? Is that
or
what
if
you
my
said?
development method is bad. So that's why I'm buying.
So
some
I'm
more
curious.
chemical-
Have you found a way to how you properly dispose of this toxic stuff?
Some of it. Well, the thing is that most of what I'm mixing up is Caffeinol Developer, and that stuff is okay to dump.
Into the drain.
I don't. Well, that's just coffee and baking, it's coffee and washing soda and vitamin C.
Oh,
That's
poor coffee.
But I'm not dealing with the bleach. I don't know what I'm going to do with that stuff. I got to find a way to dispose of.
Well, they will take. There are places you can take like your
Right.
chemicals and stuff too. You just pop them in your car and drive through them. But
Well, I think they say that if you take the dichromium bleach and you mix up a bottle of spent developing fluid into a bottle of the bleach, that neutralizes the bleach to be safer to dump in the sewer. But I don't know if I trust that, so I probably will just find some place to take toxic chemicals.
you've
to.
gone way past what I used to do. When I took photography class in college, I mean, we just had the 3 bins. You put your stuff in one, you put your stuff, then you put it in the other. You shake it around a little, then you put it in the fixer, and you're done. I mean, it was pretty easy. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's making actual prints from your negative.
Yeah.
And I haven't even done that because
the negatives were pretty much, you take a picture, it's a 35 millimeter. You're pretty much,
Well, you got to process the negative first.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You stick it in you put it in the what is it? It's like a barrel almost. They have this barrel that you stick it all in there. Just go and stick it in there for a while.
Right, a Patterson tank.
And then you sit there and you twirl the little handle. They had a handle on it.
Wow.
And it actually turned the tub. And then you take it out and then you do it. Yeah.
So anyways,
Don't twirl that too fast; it leaks. By the way.
I'm gonna shoot another test card of Kodachrome indoors and outdoors, and then I'm gonna test a few different developing methods on that card, and we'll see.
Oh, I was doing ancient media ancient media class. Basically, it was history of media. So it was a photography class, but we started out with pictures, and then we did 35 millimeter, and then we did like a section or like 3 sections of that at different angles, and then we started going into digital stuff, and that's how that goes. Yeah, it was kind of a fun class.
So anyways, I couldn't think of any good topics for this week, so I just named this week's episode "Health Food for the Holidays" because, since we're going to my family for Christmas this year,
Oh, are you bringing a cheesecake?
I'm gonna bring a cheesecake.
Nice.
Cheese is dairy. It's one of the food groups, so that works, right? Of course,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make fruit cakes. Fruit is healthy. You know, they say you should get 7 pieces of fruit a
Do you
day.
have to distill that, or you just basically cake it in sugar and syrups and stuff? I've never made a
Well-
fruit cake.
Well, you take you mix up your various fruits and nuts and raisins and things, and you soak it in cognac, and then
Oh.
you let that soak for overnight or a
And the
few
cognac
days.
will act as a long-term preservative so that it can be regifted.
Yes, and then you mix up. I think it's like the actual cake batter stuff is like your brown sugar, molasses, butter. It's pretty basic, and you throw the fruits all in there. And what I do is I do like little cupcake fruit cakes, so they're all
Oh,
Oh, you do
single
little mini
serving
bun
knows-
cake kind of things. Those
Who
are
knows
cool.
where we can get rid of the chemicals?
Yeah, okay, all right. He knows where we can get rid of the chemicals. What,
So-
in the fruit cake?
Maybe.
There you go.
I-
There
No,
you go.
no,
Yeah.
I like the idea of the mini bun cake ones. That's a great idea because you don't want to bring like a giant fruit cake because you're like, yeah, they're just gonna slice it. You might as well have little cup. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what my grandmother started doing. And what it was is she found a
Yeah.
newspaper clipping that basically gave different baking times for different size pans so that you can make different size fruit cakes. So you can make like a bunch of small fruit cakes to gift out to a bunch of people, or a big fruit cake, or little
Wow.
cupcake fruit cake. And so she took to the idea of making like because
You
usually
made a lot of fruit cake.
Right. Well, the thing is that at Christmas dinner, when the desserts came out, typically in addition to a few pies and things, there would always be plates of different various cookies that different people had baked, and so she would bake cookies and bars and little fruit cakes, and so kind of the plate on the table would be all these cookies and fruit cakes, so kind of a variety platter.
You think there are any of them
of-
left?
They went every year. No, me, my dad, people in our
Oh,
family
you guys,
like-
you ate them.
people in our family like fruitcake, so those fruit
Okay.
cakes. I every year I make a batch, and every year they disappear.
Oh, good.
Down the
So-
toilet?
Oh, well, eventually.
Eventually?
Eventually.
Yeah, they're processed.
Yeah, they're processed
Don't
eventually.
regift that.
I mean, you could if you don't like someone,
Now
but
Dune says the odds of anyone eating a fruitcake is 0. Now I'll eat fruitcake live on the show if I have to.
All
prove
right,
it.
let's do that.
We will. Well, I'm gonna have to make the fruitcake. I bought all the ingredients.
Well, you're
So
going to make a fruitcake, right?
I got to make.
You're
the
going to make them
fruitcakes.
into little cupcakes?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the little cupcake fruit.
So kick one aside and we'll eat it on the show.
And I'll shoot a movie, and it won't come out, and so then we can watch a flickering screen, and
then we
And
got a
you'll
seizure
pretend
warning
like
up on
you're
the corner.
Now, and if you do eat the cookie, you're going to have to get a camera that's a lot closer.
okay.
Otherwise, we're not going to believe you. That's not a fruitcake.
I
By the way,
I
how
would-
did those donuts turn out that you were making? Or were
The
that
donuts?
bagels?
Bagel.
Yeah,
Well,
bagels.
the bagels came out great. I made
Good.
3
I
batches.
was
of
excited
those.
when you say he was making Gators, are you making donuts?
No, I was making bagels.
Oh, you should make donuts. I bet you
He's
those are fun to
going
make
to
too.
do donuts in his car.
But
Oh.
so we went to Kristen's parents for kind of a Christmas visit yesterday, since we're going to my family's for Christmas.
Cheesecake?
And no, well, they asked me to bring a carrot cake because I brought a carrot cake once, and from then on, anytime I dare bring something other than a carrot cake, there's usually some comments about why didn't he just bring a carrot cake? That was such a good carrot cake he brought that one time. I should have brought the carrot cake.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess they like the carrot cake.
They liked it, so I had to make a carrot cake.
See
which,
that, Johnny?
which has a vegetable. That's a very healthy cake right there.
That's right.
That is.
That's right. Forget about all the sugar in it.
What sugar? It's all vegetable.
Now Sparky has a great saying here. I often said, if anyone ever breaks into my house, they are getting shot because I know they are not breaking in to give me a fruit cake. You know, if it weren't for the whole firearms thing, I would find out where he lives just so I could sneak in and leave a fruit cake on the table in the middle of the night, sneak out, and be like, well, I guess you were wrong. He did break in to give me a fruitcake.
I won't shoot you that much. It's fine.
No. If he finds me in the middle of the kitchen putting a fruitcake on the table, I am getting plugged with holes. Is what is happening to me? Sparky writes in, it would not end well for you, Johnny. Actually, I think he'd be more inclined to shoot me knowing I'm bringing the fruitcake. Because
That's right. Probably.
So, Sparky, would you aim for gators first or the fruitcake first? That's the question.
Well, he aims for the fruitcake.
Well,
the bullets
he
are gonna
would be
ricochet
testing
right
to
off
see-
that thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. See if the fruitcake could be acted.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Act
that's
as
probably
a
the correct
shield.
answer.
Sparky writes in gators.
Yeah.
That fruitcake.
Fruitcake ain't gonna hurt
I'll
me.
be frequent fire.
Dude wants to know how many of my frequent flyer miles do you need from me, Spark?
Dude, and you know Dude's got those racked up. You know Dude's got those frequent fire miles racked up by now. Dang.
Yeah. I'd best not break into the homes of firearms owners to gift them fruitcakes. That'd be a bad idea. I might have to make a fruitcake vest to wear while breaking into their house to gift them
That's
fruitcakes.
gonna be very sticky.
Yeah, well, I want that to stay on.
It ain't going anywhere.
Damn it! I can't shoot him. He keep bouncing off his fruitcake vest.
It'd be like
Ping,
the
ping,
Sims,
ping.
the Sims with you and your fruitcakes for the Sims. Yeah.
Every Sims 4 family starts with the neighbors bringing a fruitcake,
I heard that was free now.
and yeah. The moment they saw that I paid for a copy, they made it free.
Yeah.
Like
So I should
two-
download it?
Like 2 weeks later.
Oh, there you go.
Now, mind you, I paid a very small price. It was marked way down.
Oh.
Now, Sparky points out that a fruitcake vest is no match for a 12 gauge. Well, that's 2 louder than 10.
Oh. Oh no, Dude's not home.
Dune got some miles today. Oh
Uh-oh.
wow! Now, where is Dune?
Now, where is Dude been gallivanting at?
Yeah, where's he gallivanting? I like that. Where is he? Yes, we must know where Dune's gallivanting at.
Maybe he's in Canada.
Eh?
Oh, you're home. Oh, you got to go home. That's good.
Oh wait, he's been.
Yay.
But he was home on Saturday.
Was he?
Quick trip then.
Yes, because we
Well,
did the
Sunday he
5-hit.
wasn't. Sunday there was no show, so he could have been on Sunday.
Right, but there was no show Sunday because I was visiting the in-laws.
Or
So-
Dune was traveling.
So he's home, but he got some miles today. So he did a really quick round trip for.
Are you sure he was home on Saturday? You guys didn't show, but did he show his background where his home was?
He was on camera at home. He flew to Atlanta and back.
Oh, nice.
Had to
All right.
have one more trip to keep my status.
I understand that.
He flew to Atlanta and back just to keep his. There are people that
That's
do
fine.
that.
That's fine.
There are people.
You know,
that
you
do
can
that.
just buy some miles, and that keeps your status.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I still deal with miles. If I get frequent flyer miles, I give them to my brother-in-law. I don't really care. I don't need them.
So no. Dune says nope. He had to get on a plane, I guess. So are there any good stories from this trip? How great would that be? You're just doing a round trip leg to keep your status, and that's the flight that gets stuck circling the city because of bad weather.
And then it
See,
just
I
goes
feel
right
better.
back home.
and then you got to get back on another plane. Then you miss your return flight. Not miles, needed dollars.
Huh? May-
I don't know. Well,
Maybe he had something in Atlanta they had to do
So-
for the oil company.
but anyways, yeah, no, he very much just did a round trip.
All right.
Atlanta and back.
That
Keep the
works.
status.
That
Got the
works.
status back, baby. But anyways, yeah. So I made the carrot cake, very healthy. Visit the in-laws. They got it. They got a lizard. And I when you're visiting family, everyone's got to take some time for small talk about different topics. I didn't realize how much time you could waste by making the topic being the shitting habits of a lizard. But well, it's like,
Oh, I always did.
is
I
is
always
it
do
is his
codes,
tail going
unfortunately.
up? Is he gonna shit on the rock? Why would he shit on the rock? He shouldn't shit on the rock. He doesn't. Why is he gonna shit on the rock?
Is this
Why
a new
he-
Twitch channel you found?
No, this is my in-laws.
Oh.
So then they wanted to show us another lizard that they had upstairs, but they didn't want to. I guess if the two lizards see each other, that could make them a little like antsy. So they got a blanket to cover up the
Are they
cage.
not allowed to see each other?
They're not allowed to see each other. So
I-
so of course as soon as they cover up the cage lizard with the blanket, the lizard did finish lifting its tail and shit on the rock. So after the other lizard came out and put that lizard away, took the blanket down, shit on the rock, and I'm like, oh, he did it. He shit on the rock. Why did he shit on the rock? He never shits on the rock. He only did that twice before. And I'm like, dude, he shat on the rock because it was there. This isn't
Showing his displeasure.
Yeah, you ever go to the bathroom, look down, and say, you know what? I really should have said this was a rock.
Are these
It would be
two
so much better.
lizards? Are these two lizards both males?
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't care enough to pay attention.
Did you look under their skirt?
I was just watching episodes of Pawn Stars through the Freebie app on my phone, while half paying attention to this. But
Oh, poor lizards.
and you can watch Pawn Stars with the sound off because they flash what the price is back and forth, and by watching mannerisms and the price on there, you kind of see how the haggling's going.
Oh, Mike Bro, I miss him.
But Dune,
I like the Gooey Duck episode.
Dune don't do coach. And let's see, Sparky writes in, I know someone who was a pilot. He flew his small plane to Canada, took a piss, and flew back.
That works. Had to take a Canadian pee and go.
Dune writes in, Dirty Jobs had an episode of a business that shoots wild lizards in Florida. Well, I know when we were in Florida at Disney World, Kristen was pointing out all the lizards when we were like walking around the park. So,
You got the Gila ones, too. They got the scary, hissy ones.
just little lizards running around. No big deal.
Did you get the crocodiles on the golf carts? Or the golf courses?
Well, I didn't go on any golf courses, so no. But no, I think someone did. There was a kid that got eaten by a gator in that like boardwalk way that is on the park. So don't go swimming in there
Why are kids swimming in the...
because they made it up like a beach with a boardwalk and all that, but no swimming. And I guess a kid got in, and the gator got the kid. And yeah, that was a
yeah,
big
free
that was-
lunch.
That was big news story. That was yeah.
Gator look at you and say, yeah, next time deep fry it?
I'm gonna here. We'll find a news story. This was 2016.
You're still doing a show then.
Yeah. Matt Graves jumped into the water, pulling on the gator's snout in an unsuccessful attempt to free his son from its grip. Seconds later, the gator pulled Lane underwater, and both disappeared into the Seven Seas Lagoon. Oh, that's right. So the father and the kid died.
Oh. Well.
I think they both.
Well.
died. It did not.
Oops. See, what you need to do is punch the thing in the nose and then get it upside down, rub its belly, and then it'll go to sleep.
That gator wasn't giving up its dinner.
Oh, you gotta punch it in the nose, I hear. You just
but yeah,
punch it.
Don't go in the water. Is what you do. If you're at Disney, don't go in the water, unless it's the resort swimming pool. That's fine.
What about Splash Mountain?
Or you come across a land shark.
Oh.
I figured you were reaching for the boo button.
No land sharks. That was a very, very bad that is why I gave up watching the Saturday Night Live DVD box sets. By the third Landshark sketch, I was like, how long are they? I mean, the first sketch, they ran the joke into the ground.
Sure.
There was no need for a second Landshark sketch, let alone a third or a fourth.
Well, the subsequent one are just short bleeps where the shark shows up as the end of a joke.
Not as good as it used to be. I gotta tell you, the older episodes with Mr. Bill, he was a running gag that lasted years. He was great.
Oh yeah, some running gags are good.
Yeah.
Landshark is not one of them.
Oh. Okay.
Anyways,
Well.
that's just my opinion. But
I don't know if I've seen many land shark ones. I gotta tell you.
that was like season 1.
No, that's in living color, Sparky.
Fire Marshal Bill.
That was in living color.
Oh.
Oh my God, it's like Homie the Clown. That's in living color.
Fire Marshal Bill was great. Oh yes.
By the way, for your Christmas series, you need to watch the Christmas episode of in living color. It's Homie Claus. He's great.
Yes.
Homie Claus is great.
And I think there was a Fire Marshal Bill Santa episode. Fire
Yeah,
Marshal Santa.
you guys need to watch your Christmas episode. Actually, I don't know. It used to be on Hulu, and I think they changed it. I don't know where it is anymore. Yeah.
Hey, listen, buddy. They said you were supposed to bring toys for the kids. Take a chill pill, Dad. You can't sing Jingle Bells when your head's on fire. That's a beautiful tree you got there. Let Santa show you something.
Oh no! No! Don't let him near the tree.
Say, the guy who sold you this Christmas tree is an avid bear hunter. And he threw in a little something
Bear
extra.
hunter.
You stick your leg in there, trying to locate the biggest present.
Oh, he's not gonna light a fire. He's just gonna catch his leg in a bear trap that's left in the tree.
Santa, are you okay? Ho, ho, ho.
Well, anyways, that's I'm not gonna share a screen
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't want to get too dinged for the copyrights.
Well, they
But,
ding in living color. You think that's dingable?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh.
But no, yeah, Fire Marshal. I think
Yes.
that one ended with, "Hey kid, Frosty needs a longer nose," as he's walking off screen holding a stick of dynamite.
Oh,
Of course, any competent fire marshal is going to help the kids put a stick of dynamite on their snowman.
It would make a nice boom. The snow
it
would
did.
go everywhere.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every fire marshal bit ended with some kind of large explosion going on off screen, as Jim Carrey's or James Carrey, as he was credited back then.
Oh, was he James Carrey then?
He was credited as James Carrey on In Living Color.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
he was
Living
the
color
token
was
white
really
guy.
a good. Yeah, it was a really good series to start a lot of people out.
Oh
so.
yeah. That was I loved watching that show because it was like forbidden TV. Because it was like all the cool kids at school were watching it, but our parents didn't really let us watch it. But then we started saying we want to watch it, so then they let us watch it. And then my dumb brother started repeating all the things that you're not supposed to repeat from watching it, and so they stopped letting us watch it.
Yeah, your stupid brother.
I
Don't get
think-
caught at it.
I
You
think
know
there
what?
was a music video that had the line, "We did it on the table. We did it on the bed. She said she wasn't able, so I hit her on the head." And he was just repeating this ad nauseum while we were
Oh.
eating breakfast. And that is why our parents stopped letting us watch In Living Color.
Yeah.
So
I think my stepmother and dad didn't care about In Living Color because they never heard about it, but The Simpsons they had a problem with. Because people were setting fires to their house and they said it was because of Bart Simpson. And I'm like, yeah, my stepbrother was very special.
That was Beavis and Butthead that was responsible for the fires. But,
Well, I didn't have the Beavis and Butthead
Actually,
channel
a
then, sir.
funny thing. Today I was watching an episode of Nass Bridges, and I like to look at some of the secondary characters that play the
Okay.
bit parts. And one of the guys was famous for doing voices, and he still does, Homer Simpson. That's a pretty damn good gig, huh?
oh yeah.
30 years or something.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Simpsons has this like core cast of voice actors that have been going strong for many years.
yeah.
And it's at some point I mean, I like the show. It's amazing how long that show has run, but
Absolutely.
I mean, what
Is it 31 years for Simpsons?
I mean, how old are some of them getting though? Some of them have got to be getting old now. I mean, what I think
Yeah.
who does Marge's voice? I think she's getting old.
Well, Dan Castanella, who does Homer, is only 65 years old.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
got
we got
years
some-
to go.
Oh yeah, we got.
Then there was
Uh,
Tracy Ullman. Did she do?
No.
I mean, it was originally done on the Tracy Ullman show. I
Right.
do remember that. Yeah.
Now Julie Kavner does Marge Simpson, and she's 72 years old.
Yeah.
So we might be in trouble there because
She
we
gonna
can't-
start sounding like Panny and Selma after
we,
a while.
we can't have a Simpsons without Marge, and I don't think they're gonna.
Sure.
Will they recast the voice if she
Maybe.
does?
Maybe.
Or will that end the show?
I don't know.
That's I think that's what we're looking at is
Oops. Bart is voiced by Nancy Cartwright. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright.
And she's also 65 years old.
Hmm.
So we have two actors that are on,
Yep.
three.
Yeah, they all
Is
started
on,
in their
uh,
30s,
Medicare
didn't
now.
they? It was a 30. It was a. They were all
Sure,
in their
it's been on
30s.
for 30
now,
years.
Now, Dune,
Yeah.
Dune going back to Greg getting In Living Color banned in our house. Did you thump him about his head? Big bros beating up on little bros. I thought.
Oh,
Let me,
gators.
let me tell. My parents did. I did some, but usually just because he was pissing me off. But my parents didn't really tolerate that shit. So I generally, I always felt like I was always getting into more trouble than him when he was the one that was instigating all of it. Although he got in a lot of trouble the time he blew his nose on my shirt. So that was
Did
fun.
you get a sock full of pennies and whap him every time and say to homie, don't play that one?
Oh, if I did that, we definitely wouldn't be able to watch In Living Color.
Well, no, that's after he gets it banned. You gotta do it then.
Well,
So Wikipedia says 34 seasons.
no,
Oh, is it 34 now?
Dune writes in "ew." I think that's to the time my brother blew his nose on my shirt.
Now, why is he blowing his nose on your shirt?
We were in the backyard with friends, and for some reason he was being annoying. I was being annoying back to him, like fuck off, you little piddly squeak or whatever. But not that I was actually saying that, but so he decided he was pissed at me. So and I guess he needed to blow his nose. So it caught me by surprise. I would have never thought of it. Not to mention, it's pretty dumb to do something that has immediate evidence right there that you can't easily dispose of. I mean, a snotty shirt is gonna stick out like a. So he grabs my shirt and blows his nose in my shirt, and I think he thought he was hilarious. And I mean, I was like, what? I was pissed. And so
Marge, do you think that was hilarious?
I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have taken my shirt off and said, "There, I'm walking around without a shirt on now. Who's more embarrassed, me or you?" Honestly, you're doing.
I think the other people thought it was kind of funny too, but I didn't even care. I just stormed inside and it was like, "Mom, Dad, look at what Greg did to me here," and my dad was furious, and so I'm like, I'm like heading upstairs, like I'm changing my shirt. My dad's like, "No, don't change your shirt." What do you mean, don't change it? Don't change
my
your
shirt.
No. Well, my dad decided that what he was going to do was he was going to grab the box of tissues, hand it to my brother, and go, "You clean your brother's shirt now," and it didn't seem to faze my brother much. He grabbed a tissue and dabbed the shirt with the tissue, and at some point he's just doing this up and down motion. And my mom and dad are having this conversation off to the side while I'm just standing here and my brother's just rubbing a tissue on my shirt to wipe the snot off of it. And I remember kind of like almost being like outside of my body at this moment, just like, this is so bizarre. Like, look at this. They're having this conversation. I'm standing here, and my brother's wiping his snot off my shirt. How did I get here? How did we get to this point of existence? How did this happen? But then he adequately finished cleaning my shirt. My dad said, "Okay, go change your shirt now."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I always said that's gross. You could put my shirt on, Dad. Sorry. You're gonna put my shirt on and you can wear it. I'm gonna go change. You enjoy it.
Well, whatever. So I changed my shirt and went about my day, and I think Greg might have been restricted to his room for the rest of the day. But yeah, that was disgusting. But no, I couldn't really beat up on him too much because he'd go tattle, and I'd be in trouble because I'm supposed to be older and know better. You know, no one understands the pains of being the older sibling like older siblings do.
Mars.
What?
Do you think Johnny tattled first?
Probably.
Oh, we were all a bunch of.
Someone blows their nose on my shirt. First of all, I might punch them. Second of all, and I don't punch people. I'm just saying no. That's nasty. And I'd take my shirt off and I'd say, "Okay, I'm going inside, and Mom and Dad will know, but I'm changing my shirt, so you enjoy." Well, because honestly, you go inside and tell your parents, you're gonna put the fear of crap in your bro. You know that. He's like, he was like, "Oh crap!" He had a little bit.
Well, he should have thought of that before he did something so stupid that was so obviously blatant right there. I mean, there's no denying, you know. Not to mention, if I didn't tattle on him, then my mom doing the laundry might be like, "Ew, what the fuck is this?"
Dude does have an idea.
Oh.
That is a pretty good idea. Wow, dude.
Oh, we like the new one. We want this to work out. That's it's not. There's not a new wife. It's a girlfriend. But you know, we want this to work out. I would not mess with that. Besides, we both were messing with each other a lot back then. I'm sure he's got plenty of stories. Although I never gave my brother a black eye throwing a hardcover Bible at him. No, that one he did to me. For some reason, my siblings were being a bunch of shitheads one day. Go figure, kids being shitheads, and
you were innocent, right?
I was totally innocent. In this one. No, well, what happened was, I think it was one of my sisters that started this, where they were throwing things at me, and it was one of these things where it's like, you know, I'm throwing this at you, and I'm like, stop it, you know,
throw something back at her.
And you know, and I'm exaggerating for humor, but I think it was one of those things where I'm like, stop doing that, which only makes them want to do it more. And so they're like throwing their toys at me and their figures at me, and I'm just like, you know, leave me the fuck alone, stop throwing your shit at me. Except I wasn't cursing because I was a good, well-behaved kid that didn't curse.
Oh, I still do that. I still don't curse. That's okay.
So I decided, okay, you're gonna throw your stuff at me, I'm gonna keep your stuff. And so this escalated to the point where, like they're looking for anything they can find to throw at me, and I have this pile of stuff that they've thrown at me that I'm guarding on the stairs. That, you know, no, you throw it at me, it's done. I own this now. You threw it at me, and so at some point, one of my sisters tried to throw the vacuum cleaner at me, but she only got that to go a few inches. So they ran out of things downstairs to throw at me. And at some point, Greg got in on the action on this. And so they run up the stairs. They're at the top of the stairs. I'm at the bottom of the stairs. And they go to the bookcase. And my sister grabs this hardcover edition of the Bible, hands it to my brother, and says, "Here, throw this."
So yeah, you should.
She didn't throw it herself. She handed it to him. Here, throw this. And it was one of these things where I guess you could kind of see it happening in slow motion, because I'm at the bottom of the stairs, like thinking like he ain't gonna, because I'm guarding the pile of shit they've thrown at me. And so he takes aim and he throws. And I thought I'd be able to duck out of the way in time, but it happened so fast. It hit me square in the eye. Bam! And gave me I don't know, not necessarily a full-on black eye, but there was a bump. And that ended that. And he was in trouble.
Did you tell your parents that God laid the smackdown on you?
Well, that was around my eye was still had a bump on it around the time of one of my great grandparents' funerals.
Oh,
and,
okay. Don't say that then.
And the priest overseeing the funeral asked me about how I got the bump in my eye, and me wanting to embarrass my brother as much as I can for the misery he put me through.
Did you say it?
I said it. I said,
oh,
I got hit in the face because my brother threw a Bible at me, and the priest commented, "Oh, they got hit by the word of God there. It's a pretty powerful
Yeah, you know
word."
he laughed a little bit when you heard that.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty powerful word. It's yeah. So yeah, they
Oh,
the
plausible.
plausible deniability. No, it left the here, you throw it. So, of course, I got called into the guidance counselor's office so they could subtly ask me if I was being beaten at home. But
Oh, you said only by my sister and brother. It's fine.
it's like, hey, want to check in on you. Is everything okay at home? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Oh, I see you have a bump on your face. Yeah, my brother threw a Bible at me. Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you go back to class then.
And you know she laughed too. She's like,
Fuck that bitch, Mrs. Vivian Gleason. Fucking hate that bitch.
she was your bestie. Come on.
No.
No? No?
Fuck that bitch.
I mean, that. Have you looked her up on the internet lately? Is she around? Is she on
Maybe
Facebook?
Oh, maybe she's dead.
See, now you guys know her name, so Dune, you can go on Facebook and look her up. It's fine. Or Sparky. Have fun.
Let's see.
Let's not. There's like,
Senior research assistant in Kansas City.
that might be it.
Is this the same one?
Maybe. Dune could go visit.
No, I don't think this is. Well, let's look back in her history on her LinkedIn page here. It doesn't.
Oh.
It doesn't go back further than 2017.
Sorry.
So I don't know if this is the same one and she moved to Kansas, or if there's just more than one Vivian Gleason that works in mental.
That sounds like a very common
health.
name, actually. I bet you there's more than one.
Yeah, no, this sounds like a younger person.
Just like there's more
actually.
than one Sparky Toaster on YouTube, probably. You know.
There probably is. There's probably a whole
Yeah.
load of Sparky Toasters.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the Google Images search and see if I can recognize that bitch's face,
Oh,
and then we'll
you just
find
want to
her.
punch her. What the heck?
Well, I just want to find out where she is now. Maybe there's a picture with an obituary or something.
Dang! Merry Christmas,
Wow.
everybody! Dang!
I'm not really wishing death on anyone, but time happens. I'm just
Is
saying.
the FBI still listening?
They're probably just recording the whole show. Okay, well,
We haven't mentioned anything about chemicals in the past half hour at least.
yeah. No Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
No sulfuric acid in the bathtub.
No, not in the bathtub, in the basement.
In the basement.
No, yeah, actually, I'm finding no Vivian Gleason that has anything to do with the one I knew. So, fuck that bitch.
Okay.
No, she was. The problem I had with her was
Years ago.
Sparky Toaster looking up "fuck that bitch."
Oh.
Dude writes in, if you would have said I fell down, they would have called the cops.
Probably.
Sparky then writes in, Johnny wants to give her a fruitcake. Exactly. I want to look her up so I could give her a fruitcake.
Yeah.
Dude writes in, but he's not. But oh no, when it comes to Mrs. Gleason, I'm bitter. I am. Well, the thing is I struggled with a little bit of bullying in high school. and grade school and school. But and I found in my experience, it seems like a lot of school bullying is dealt with by blaming the victim. And now, mind you, my view on this is very biased because in my mind, I was the victim of bullying, and in my mind, I was being more blamed for things than being helped. Now the thing is that I don't always know everything that's being said or everything that's being done, because to me it's frustrating when my parents are trying to encourage me to change my ways as a result of being bullied. But on the other hand, they're trying to do everything they can to reduce the bullying. So like, hey, if you were a little bit more socially active and had friends and behaved a little more normally, maybe you wouldn't get bullied so much, and then we wouldn't have to feel bad about you being bullied. And not that means that that's blaming the victim or saying it's okay to be bullied, but they want it to help me. But at the time, I felt very much like I was a blamed victim. And Mrs. Gleason, I think, was one of the worst people in my time dealing with bullying to play that role. I felt like she blamed
You could
me
always
for
throw a
everything.
Bible at him.
Don't think the nuns would take nicely to that.
Only if they found
It didn't work out well for my brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't recall what happened to him after that, but I don't think he was at the dinner table that night. Sparky Toaster asks, do you care less for Gleason or the Thong Lady? Who's the Thong Lady?
Fong. My Fong, I think.
My Fong. Gleason. Gleason's the worst. My Fong's fine. We had our differences of opinions, but it's we got along great at the end. But let me just give you an example of a Vivian Gleason story. So, I was having trouble in English class my sophomore year. I had Mr. Januzzi as my English teacher. His wife also taught at the school. She made the papers some years later for I forget what. But so I had Mr. Januzzi in the class, and for some reason we didn't get along at first. And it was another one of those situations where I was being picked on in the class. People were taunting me. People were calling me Stuart because they thought I was nerdy and geeky like Stuart in Beavis and Butthead. And I knew enough to know that this was an insult. And so being called Stuart bothered me because they were insulting me and they were calling me a geek and a nerd and undesirable and uncool. And that's
what year would have this been?
This would have been 95-ish, 94.
So Bill Gates was already a billionaire.
1994 this would be.
Wow.
This would be pre-Windows 95, but it's coming.
But Gates was already a billionaire.
Oh yeah. So
you just say, hey, here's a nerd, Bill Gates. Call me Gates. Gates, pretty close.
I think they would have just said, yeah, whatever,
Stuart.
That's nice, Stuart. Like, no, there was no phasing them. So
You could have called him Nelson and laughed at him.
So I'd tell them to stop it. I'd tell them to leave me alone. And then, it would escalate to the point that they, poke at me enough that I would reach the point of pretty much getting louder and be like, leave me alone. I'm trying to, pay attention in class here. And then the teacher, Mr. Januzzi, thinks that I'm the disruptive one because I'm the one that's creating a scene in response to being picked on. And I would try to explain to him, look, these kids keep calling me names. Well, I don't hear them. I only hear you. So I can't do anything if I don't hear it. I'm like, I'm telling you it's happening. Could you do something about it? And so he would, be reporting me to the office and the guidance counselors and things for being disruptive in class. And it's like, dude, I'm being bullied by these assholes. Could someone do something about this for the love of Christ Almighty? And
See, I know why she sent you to the principal's office.
Mhm.
There's only one of you, and there's what, 3 bullies?
At least 3, 4, 5. So then what he does?
See, I mean, it's simple. One guy goes to the office.
So
Problem solved.
And then, but
the teacher doesn't give a shit.
No, he did, but he should have, but he didn't.
Well, so you had the opportunity at the principal's office to tell them who are the bullies.
And I always did. I was always forthcoming with the details. I
And
was
the
happy
principal
to talk to.
didn't give a shit.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. And you know what the teacher did?
No,
to deal
they
with this?
didn't. I'm sure. Are you agreeing with me or disagreeing?
I'm agreeing. They didn't give a shit. They didn't do shit for me. Let me finish the story.
All right.
So the teacher dealt with it by moving me to the back of the classroom so that he wouldn't have to hear any of it.
Oh,
that's the
best.
Here's
That's
a
like putting you in the
solution.
lion's den. What's with that?
Right. If he moved me to the
Dude.
front next to him, he might
I
be
would say-
able
I would
to
say, can I get
monitor
the
the
front, please?
situation.
Because-
Instead, he moved me to the damn back.
So
of
were
the,
these guys in the back of the room or were they in the front?
They were
They
right
were-
in the back. That's where you should.
they were the whole rest of the class.
Yeah.
There was nowhere in the room I was safe. And
Okay. All right.
so
So why
so-
didn't you just get up and leave?
You try to do that in the middle of class to see what happens.
where did you go to high school?
I was like, dude, I wish I could have gone to high school and gotten
You-
up. Actually,
Clearly, you didn't go to a Catholic high school.
Well, in fact, you
Yeah.
get up and they say, "Where are you going?" I'm going to the principal's office.
I was not in good favor at that office. I
Yeah,
was
but you could just say that and you just go home or whatever.
Well, here's what happened so one day, they're picking on me again. Now, Dune writes in, "Holy crap, Johnny Caplock before there was cap locks."
yeah, pretty much.
Sparky points out that
All
there were
right,
cap
Dune.
locks on typewriters. Well, our school did have a computer lab. I'm pretty sure there were cap locks there too. So no one can let Dune have his moment. But anyways, so one day they're picking on me again. Now, mind you, here's the other thing that frustrated me. As I told you, they were calling me Stuart, and I would tell them,
Yeah.
"My name is not Stuart. My name is John or Jonathan. Do not call me Stuart." You know what the version of the story that Mr. Januzzi went and told the principals? Said, "Oh, he was blowing a big fuss because they were calling him John instead of Jonathan."
Oh.
Not Johnny.
Sure, Lua was a good show. Movie.
So one day they're doing it again, and I don't even know if it was a Stewart thing or it was even something else. But they're poking at me. They're pushing my buttons, and they keep prodding, poke. It's like, stop it, quit it, leave me alone. And then it reaches a point where I'm like, cut it out, leave me alone. And Mrs. Vivian Gleason has the office next to this classroom, so she comes in front of the whole class, grabs my arm, yanks me out of the room like I'm the one that's being bad.
Oh
here.
yeah, you were the disruptor.
Like I
She
started
heard
this
your
whole
voice. Yeah,
But
you did.
now, mind you, I have been telling this dumb bitch for 2 fucking years what's been going down. And what does she do? She humiliates me in front of the whole class, yanks me out of the classroom. I'm in tears at this point. I am in fucking tears. I am sophomore in high school in fucking tears at these bullies calling me names and this dumb bitch that's blaming me for being picked on. And she pulls me into her office, and there's a bunch of other people in the office, and they're at this point they're being compassionate. What's "What happened? What's wrong, Jonathan?" I'm like, they're picking on me again. Well, what have they done?
What's wrong, Stuart?
And no, they were not. Not everyone was mean to me. Just like half the school. So, Sparky writes in, "How did Johnny ever get through school without punching someone?" That was never anything I ever considered an option. I just my mind don't.
They give
work
you a
like
metal
that.
object for band class. Couldn't you like beaten someone with it?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted them to leave me alone and
yeah.
not hate me.
Yeah.
So I'm like a mess, and so Mrs. Gleason chases them all out, like, get out, and then she acts patronizing to me and treats me like, mind you, I'm a sophomore in high school. And what does she do? My, you're getting tall. Look how tall you're getting. And I'm not exaggerating that voice for effect. She is literally talking down to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Look at how tall you're getting. Let's mark your height on the wall here. Let's come here. Stand against the wall. Let me get a pencil and I'll mark. If they haven't repainted that room to this day, somewhere there's a line on a wall marking my height as a sophomore.
I'm not getting taller, honey. You're getting shorter. That's what happens with age.
Exactly.
You know.
If I was as good on my feet as I am now, I would have thought of that. But I'm like steaming, like smoke coming out of my ears while she's marking my height on the wall.
Did you do it?
And I just seethed. And so she sits me down. She's like, well, come on, let's talk about what happened. And I'm like, well, they were picking them. Yes, but then you became disruptive and you can't do that. And I'm like, well, maybe if you actually did something about the kids that are picking on me all the time, maybe this wouldn't happen. And all of a sudden, the smile went off her face and the patronizing tone went out of her mouth. And she went, well, you don't have to like me, Jonathan. You don't have to like me. But I just saved your butt there. If I didn't come in and pull you out of there, you would have been bigger. You'd be down in the office. They'd be kicking you out of this school. And I'm like, whatever. I don't fucking do something about the kids that are bullying me.
So did you document it?
Yeah, there's a show on right now.
Uh,
This is documentation, legal, binding. It's over there. There's Jackie Gleason over there. She'll be knowing.
I want to say that if anyone should have been documenting these things, it should be my parents. And I don't know what my parents did or didn't do. I certainly feel like my parents are caring enough that they would have done everything in their power to do for the situation. Because I know that there were meetings that my parents were having at the school. I know there was frustration felt among them, but my parents are also the type to not question authority in front of the kids. They wanted us to respect authority even if they weren't in agreement with that authority. Parents saw, they felt that parents and teachers should be a team. And if you're going to question their authority, you're going to do that not in my presence. So as I get older, I kind of look back and realize my parents probably did some authority questioning behind the scenes at that school and probably did all they could have. I know my mother has some people at that school that she felt like someday when all those kids are out of that school, I'm going to go there and tell them what I think of all of them. But I don't think that day ever
long after
came.
the fact, when there's nothing that could be done.
My mom didn't want to do anything that would reflect negatively on our family and could result in bad things happening to the younger generations as we came up through that school system. She didn't want to be marked as a...
Why didn't your parents send you to a different school?
They were already sending me to a different school. They took us out of public school to go to a Catholic school because they believed in the Catholic school system. They didn't feel that they were doing badly enough that they needed to pull us out of there, but I think there were times... Were
you doing poorly in the public school?
My parents felt I was doing socially poorly in the public school, but I don't think the school helped any. My parents felt that once you got beyond 5th grade, it was easy to fall behind, and the teachers wouldn't really give you a helping hand if you were falling behind. They'd let you sink. That was the mentality my parents had of the public school system of Hillsborough, 6th grade through high school. And so when I was getting ready for 6th grade, they were very worried about me, and they were worried I was not going to be able to cut it at the school system there. And so that is when they got serious about pulling me out of the public school and putting me in a private school. But when it came down to looking at the budget, private school was not in the cards. So they looked at Catholic schools, and they sent and when they brought me over to Catholic school, they brought my siblings over as well. And that's how we ended up at Catholic school, my understanding of it, which I was opposed to it because, mind you, I was an outcast. I was bullied, but at least they were my bullies. I knew this crowd. I didn't want to be pulled out and thrown into a whole different group of people I didn't know. So I was furious that they pulled me out of my school, and because even though I didn't get along that well, I had a few friends.
So going to the Catholic school seemed like punishment.
It did.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I'm glad they did, and it worked out. And you got yourself into college, right? Yeah. I will say
and
that
you did fine in college. You didn't have any bullies
right?
I
will say 6th to 8th grade, I think I was a bit of an outcast, but it was not as bad as high school. And heck, by the end of 8th grade, I felt like I was a part of something there when we all were a class graduating together from that school. Because the school I went to from 6th to 8th grade was one class per year. That was the size of the school. So we were the 8th grade graduating class. We were, and a lot of these people were together since kindergarten. Some of us came along the way, and I had been with them for the past 3 years. And so by the end of 8th grade, it's, we all love each other. Oh my God, it's never going to be the same
Kumbaya.
again. And most of us went on to the same high school, but a lot of different schools went to the Immaculata High School. That was the big Catholic high school in the area. So we were thrown into a much bigger pool. And that was a rough 4 years. And Dune writes in, you do know that you had a better education there. Yeah.
Got him into college, like
I
said before.
Now, Sparky brings up a very good point here. What would Johnny have done if there was social media back then like there is today? I dealt the hand I had, and I got through it. And there are times where I think, like, I don't know how I would have dealt with things in a different time. And you just don't know. And you kind of imagine, like, oh, my God, I don't think I could have. I don't think I could handle – I mean, the way school is today, I think it's more difficult. When I get hints of things, I'm like, they make you do that? And it's like that now? And I'd be like, oh, my God, thank God I got out before they did that shit. But, when you're there, it's normal. And I mean, there are probably people who were adults when I was in school looking at me going like, wow, it has got to be tough to thank God I'm not there. Everyone goes through their journey in their time. And so, yeah, I don't know what I would have done if there was social media when I was, because, I mean, things were very cliquey in schools. I did not fit in very well all the time. But I had my friends. Genocide Rob and Doogie and me were kind of the three musketeers through high school. We were there for each other, and we got each other through it. And now neither of them will speak to me ever again. And that's fairly painful because they mean so much to me because they got me through those 4 years. And I can't even show any appreciation for that anymore because they want nothing to do with me. But, well, this got dark.
Don't worry, gamers. I got picked on quite a bit too in high school. If it makes you feel any better,
it doesn't. But I feel. Hey, I'm on the other side of it, so I'm fine.
Yeah, they used to pick on me a lot. I mostly hid from them. In one of my high schools, I went to 2 different high schools. The first 2 years I was in my high school, my freshman, sophomore year, there was a bunch of kids that would, there were a group of them. They would find me out. They'd look for me and they'd mess with me and stuff. And one day one of the guys was sitting there. He was really making me mad. He kept flicking me with a rubber band attached to a paperclip. It hurts. By the way, that hurts on bare skin, just to let you know.
Yeah.
I said, we were in gym, right? We were in the hallway on the way to gym. I go, you do that again and you will be sorry. I got up my courage and he goes, ooh, ooh, ooh. I go, you will see. And the other guys are like, no, he's not gonna do anything. They're making fun of me, whatever. So we went in the gym, and in the middle of the gym, he did it again, right in the middle of the gym. So I punched him right in the middle of the gym class, right in the middle of the gymnasium.
All right.
I punched him. I said, don't do it again. And he punched me back. Then I punched him again. I got him on the ground, and I kicked him in the balls. Yeah. Yeah,
Oof.
I might I might have kicked him in the balls, and he went down, and we got in trouble, and I made sure when I did hit him, I was in the middle of the gym. I wanted everybody to see what happened, so at least they know that both of us were involved in this. And the guy never picked on me again. He never picked on me again. Others did, if they have that.
Yeah.
DoorDash.
And then I moved here, and there's a bunch of new kids. And this was a way bigger school from my last school. That was the high school had less than 300 people in it, to a high school that had 300 people in my junior/senior year. So from 1 to like high. And it was a very big, quickie. I've never been to a school. And there was a lot of kids that picked on me. So I just stayed away. You know?
Was that in Hayward or?
It was in Fremont. There's a Fremont
Fremont,
school there. Yeah, Fremont. And it wasn't like to the point where I had to tell people, to the point where, I just dreaded being at school. I went to school and then I left. When it's time to go, I left. I didn't stay around. I didn't have after school activities. I didn't do anything. But they would bug me. They would tease me. They would do whatever else, and I just dealt with it, and it really sucked. But I got through it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
yeah, I got through it.
we all. There's barely no other option. You
Yeah,
get through
yeah,
it.
you get through it. You do what you want. My sister actually was in the year before me. I was a sophomore. I got there. I was a junior. She was a sophomore. So I knew more people in her classes than I did in mine because she had been there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that
Sparky
too.
Toaster says, "Let's talk about DoorDash and Johnny's experiences with them. They've been good
Yeah.
lately. I
Yeah.
ordered KFC
Oh,
a
right.
few weeks ago. They
Yeah.
delivered it. It was tasty.
Yeah.
Now, Dune points out the issue is with holding kids accountable is they can be so effing vindictive. No one
They can.
wins, and that's why people just hope shit goes away itself, and
Yep.
rarely does.
My sister ended up moving schools over here. That's the thing. She just said, I can't handle this when I left.
Well, I remember my parents actually had me switched on bus routes because when I was in grade school, the bullying was so bad on the bus. And the bus driver don't have time to deal with that shit. So basically, they don't care why you're yelling to be left alone on a bus. They just don't want you yelling on a bus while someone's concentrating on driving. So there was a lot of meetings and things that went on. I think the bus driver was actually trying to get me kicked off of the bus just to make the problem go away. So. But I don't know the details or how far that went, but I do know that there were meetings that happened in school, and the end result was, well, there's another bus that runs on the street that goes behind your cul-de-sac. If he cuts through the yard and waits there, he could get on that bus instead. And so that for the rest of my time in the public school system, I was cutting through my backyard to get on the alternate bus route that cut through our neighborhood to avoid the bullies on the normal bus I was on. But what was I? There was one time though that the bullies picked a bad time to pick on me. There was a kid in my class sophomore year. He was bullied, and I think he also had problems at home, and he
Oh,
didn't,
that sucks.
he didn't make it. We lost him. He started a car in the garage and that was a huge.
That's harsh. Yeah.
The school really felt that they had opened themselves up to possible legal liabilities there with a situation like that, because part of the equation was that this kid was being bullied in school, and in response the school reached out to the family and agreed to pay for the final services, and some of us, like me and my parents and my therapist, because I was seeing a therapist on a weekly basis at this point. it was part of the school's condition for me to continue going to school there after the outbursts that I talked about earlier, was that he needs to see a therapist. And the therapist was actually very critical of the school. And that was kind of when I started getting a little insight that my parents weren't exactly siding with the teachers completely 100%, but I had to respect their authority and all that. But we actually talked about that situation, and he kind of pretty much flat out said, it sounds like the school's trying to avoid a lawsuit by making a friendly gesture of paying for the final services.
That's a yep.
But the end result of that was that they came out with this mutual respect policy that they had like they preempted Channel 1 one morning to run the principal making his presentation about how there was one of these comments she made during this presentation that made me roll my eyes about how there's always room for improvement, and so we have reviewed our policies here and are looking to improve things, although it is really hard to improve upon things that are already nearly perfect. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Let me tell you, I've not seen any nearly perfect from my seat. But anyways, they introduced this mutual respect policy. I think it involved us signing papers laying out this policy of mutual respect. And it was a big thing that was done for show. I mean, in a matter of months, things are back to their normal.
Yeah, they probably shredded all those pieces of paper, right?
Yeah, they probably sat in a file cabinet until it was cleaned out the next time and ended up in a dumpster someplace. But not even a week after this suicide took place, there was a bullying incident that took place with me, and basically it involved an older kid by the name of Dave. I want to say his last name because it's funny.
But
well, he's dead now, so I guess
yeah.
He was messing
as the
around
show
with,
gets even darker.
He was messing around with someone's wife and got stabbed in the woods many years later. I read about it in the paper. And I'm like, that guy bullied me. I feel
don't mess with the person's wife.
Yeah.
That's what we learned.
He must have deserved it.
No one deserves that.
No, but
you know what? It was really interesting is that in my time getting to know, his name was Dave Wood. He got called Woody at times, but I saw him as this guy that was a bully and would beat down on people. But when I talked to him more, as I tried to figure out why he was the way he was, I found out that he felt like that he was the one that was always getting picked on, which was so bizarre to me because this dude was just beating on me, not physically, but he like threatened violence on me and things like that. He was so anyways, he ended up he was in my same lunch break, and our tables were close enough to each other that he was sometimes involved in conversations. I think this was this around the year of Patty? I don't know if this was the year of Patty. Trying to think which lunch period this was. This might have been the year that I had a girl claiming I was stalking her and complained about me to guidance counselors, and so
she was stalking people that early. I'm impressed.
I sat at her table at lunch. And
that's definitely stalking right there, right at the table.
And she felt that she felt uncomfortable about that, and rather than voice it to me, she went and complained about me. And when I found out about that, I removed myself from that table.
I'd be like, dude, I was just sitting at the table eating some foods. What's up, girl?
But I was going back and forth between two different tables, and I was getting picked on at this other table. And Deadwood was one of the members of that. Was my dad's name for him. But at some point, some other kid that I didn't even know, I couldn't even tell you his name, but he started, some joke was happening involving making a hand motion like he's going to grab my chests. And for some reason, that just caught me the wrong way that day. And I was like, you keep your hands off of me. And the friends around, the guys around me at the table saw this agitation and was like, ooh, we could have fun with that. Let's so apparently, because I was reacting so strongly to keep your hands away from me, get away from me, I was like creeped out by this guy. Like, dude, why keep your hands off of me? What the fuck's wrong with this guy? Like, what's the I felt like he was mental. Like there was something mentally wrong with him that he felt it was appropriate to make motions like he's going to grab for my chests. Like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? You keep this guy away from me. So Deadwood and him go off to the side someplace, and Deadwood says to him, "Hey, dude, we got to do this. This is too good to pass up. I'll give you $5. You go sneak up behind him and grab his chests." And the money was exchanged. I'm sitting at the table minding my own business, calming down from whatever had transpired before. And he comes up behind me and he grabs me by the chest. And I was having none of it. And so I think the reaction I had caused dead silence from everyone else in the dining hall as I turn around and scream at him, "You get your hands off of me. You get away from me." I went off on him. I screamed. And apparently this guy was shocked at my response. He didn't think I was going to respond that badly to this. I think he was kind of wishing he didn't do this at this point. Mind you, this was days after someone had committed suicide for bullying at this school, and the school was reeling from that. So if ever there was a moment to make an example of people, these poor kids. And then a third guy got involved in this. So this guy by the name of Rob, who's a little odd, football player.
We'll call him Odd Rob.
He was not big.
Not Genocide Rob.
Not Genocide Rob.
Odd Rob.
Odd Rob. He was a little off in the head, I think. I think he took too many hits in football practice. I don't think he ever got put in the game. I think he was like one of the second strain people. He was probably sitting on the bench next to Dennis Fleet.
Or third.
Yeah. Dennis Fleet was the shortest. I think the last game of the season, the whole marching band was cheering for them to put Dennis Fleet in the game just because of how hilarious that would be.
I would have.
They would not. He never got to play, I don't think.
Dude, sometimes the problem is sometimes the short ones, they can freaking run fast. No one's gonna be able to catch him.
That's right.
Leave it between them, dude.
They plow right over him.
You just gotta learn how to run the right way.
Could go between their legs.
I don't know. As far as I was concerned, we were just there for the halftime show. But anyways, they were just our opening and closing act. But anyways, so Rob is someone decides, oh, we're not done yet. Hey, Rob, go bring him this nickel. Tell him, hey, it's from him. He says he hopes it was as good for you.
That guy's $1. He's giving off like $5.05.
Right. Well, he gave me a nickel. He said, here, it's from him. He says he hopes it was as good for you as it was for him. And that nickel made it to the other side of the dining hall, or the cafeteria.
Oh.
So the outburst that happened resulted in people being called to the office and stories being taken down and things being written down. And, and my mom says, for all the problems we had with Mrs. Gleason, this was the one nice thing she ever did for us. Was that Mrs. Gleason called my mom and tipped her off that when all the other people's parents were being called into the office, so she could be present for that and participate in that. So my mom came in the office that day while Deadwood, Mr. Grabber, and Odd Rob's parents were in the office to meet with the principal and vice principal to go over just what in the fuck is wrong with your kids molesting a student like that. Right after we just had a bit of a bullying situation that went really bad for us. And my mom said that, they really laid into Deadwood. He was, they had no mercy on him. The guy that grabbed me, my mom felt some sympathy for him because she really felt like he had no idea that it was going to go like that. Like, they egged him on. He thought it was a gag, a joke, a prank, and that we'd all have a laugh after it. But that was he was really kind of befuddled that this went as bad as it went. You know, I mean, they didn't let him off the hook because he's like, dude, it's like a greeting. My mom's like, you normally walk up to people and grab their chests as a greeting? It's like, oh, yeah, no.
Depends on who it is. And depends on your relationship.
But poor Odd Rob's mother, she was freaked out because this was blowing up in a way that the question was on everyone's mind: are they going to kick these kids out over this incident? Because they were not messing around after the suicide they had on their hands. They were not messing around here, and so Rob's mom was freaked out that their kid was going to get kicked out of the school, and you know, they didn't want this over a misunderstanding or a, you know. So first, Rob's best friend Greg calls me up, and I knew Greg. We were on friendly terms, acquaintances, not anyone that ever hung out, but we'd had conversations in school. But I also knew he was Odd Rob's friend, and the two of them were kind of off doing their odd things, farting in the back of the library and giggling about it. But
gotta be a
blaming each
joke
other.
in there someplace.
Gators, I have to admit, when I used to hear that in the back of the library, I kind of crashed up a little bit. I'd snicker. Because you can't help it. They're in the back of the library, they're passing gas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
And then they're blaming each other. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and you know what? You can't help but laugh a little
Yeah.
bit. You're in high school. Come on.
yeah. So anyways, so Greg calls me and he's like, dude, Rob's mom is freaking out. She is, what happened? What happened? And so I explained to him the whole thing that happened. He's like, oh my, they're going to kick him out. They're worried they're going to kick him out. Is there anything you can do? I'm like,
Not me. Go away.
dude, I got my chest grabbed. I didn't ask for that. What are you calling me? So then Rob's mother calls me, and she had a strong accent, and she's asking me what happened, and I explained the story what happened, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I would want for you and my son to be friends. You know, he's really a good kid, and I would you like to come over for dinner sometime? Would you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. You know,
I would have said no. I could be there with your grabbing son.
I was gonna do the non-committal. Yeah, sure, I'll come over someday. We'll get right on that.
Oh, did you go the next day?
No.
Oh.
My dad put an end to this. when
I'm glad he did, because you would have gone visiting.
Well, she didn't stop there. So we had our friendly, cordial call where she asked me what happened. I told her what happened, and she said, oh, I would like for you to be friends. Maybe you come over. You know, he's a good kid. I'm sorry he did that. And hello, Zoe in the house. And so that was that call, and that finishes. So then my parents come home, and they're getting an earful about everything that happened that day, and I tell them my version of the story. And then phone rings. Like, as we're finishing up dinner, phone rings. They ask for me, hands me the phone. I get the phone. It's Odd Rob's mom again. It's like, could you please help me? Could you please? They're gonna kick my son out of the school. I'm like, calm down now. Come on, let's. No. Could you go talk to them? Could you go ask them not to? Could you? I'm like, dude, they're not gonna kick your son out of the school over this one incident. Yeah, he's in trouble, but they're not gonna kick him out over this.
Did they kick him out?
They didn't kick him out.
Oh, dang it!
Told you so.
Dang!
Told you so, Odd Rob.
Dang!
Dune writes in, without giving away the accent, if you would have went to dinner, what would it have been?
It would have been matzo.
I don't know.
It would have been matzo, wouldn't it?
You know, they were... I don't know what the ethnicity was. I just know there was an accent there that the mother spoke in.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, Nickel. She said Nickel. You know,
Oh,
so
so
he gave you the Nickel.
They were
and
nice
he threw
Jewish
the
kid?
Nickel.
Nice
What's
Jewish
that?
kids?
Maybe.
Nice
Well, it was a
Wait,
Catholic
this was
school.
a Catholic school? Or is
Yeah,
this
this
a
was-
public school?
Well, it was a Catholic school, but
Ooh!
but
Does that
but
mean he was
there
a
were
cashew?
Jewish kids that did go to Catholic school.
Does that mean he was a
because
cashew?
I don't know what the deal was. Okay,
Okay,
I
just wondering.
don't know. I don't even know what that is. But
A Catholic Jew! Cashew! Come on!
Okay.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
hey,
That's one. I'm almost
hey,
done.
Mars.
Okay, go ahead.
Mars.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for saying that because I hadn't learned anything at all in this episode.
But you were
Now I
not.
did.
You were not. You know what? You learned when someone walks behind you and grabs your chest to scream. Seriously, that's what
No,
we
you,
learned.
you learned don't grab gators by the chest if you know
No,
what's good
no.
for you. Because it wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyways,
there's that, but
so Rob,
but I like the one I just learned from Mars.
Oh no.
So Odd Rob's mom is in a panic, and I'm trying to calm her down. And my dad looks at this and sees how this is all kinds of wrong. That the victim is calming down one of the bully's moms, trying to assure her that things will be all right. And my dad was having none of this. So my dad took the phone from me and interjected, and was basically
Ooh,
like,
that's
"What is?"
candy.
And it wasn't a get the fuck off my phone, hang up moment. My dad engaged in conversation with her. And I recall the conversation, something to the effect of, well, gee, it sounds like you're out of luck if he's only a second-rate football player because it's a pretty, it's. I recall that was part of the conversation was, well, gee, because he's a football player, and it was a very much we were an award-winning school. We had an award-winning football team. We had an award-winning marching band. And so football players, as much as they said that the football players don't get away with things, football players got away with things.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
but I do remember my dad basically going, well, it sounds like he's only a second-rate football player, so you might have some trouble there. And the next day in school, I'm walking to my locker. Odd Rob's friend Greg comes up to me, and he's like, dude, what the heck did your dad say to Rob's mom? She called me all in a panic, all upset afterwards. I'm like, I don't know. He took the phone from me. I know nothing after that.
Right.
I don't ask me. I don't. So yeah.
Probably something like, if I can help it, your kid will be out of school. Goodbye.
Leave my son alone. Calling him to help your kid is not the right thing to be doing right now. I think you need to be talking to your kid. So anyways, they were suspended for a number of days. After the suspension, they were back in school. And I actually, after the suspension, like, my mom filled me in on all the conversations she had with these kids' parents. That's when I found out Deadwood, he didn't live with his parents. He lived with his grandmother.
You think you would have been a better boy then?
Well, I
You
approached
and
him,
grandma's like the smackdown. You know what's going on.
and he's like, "Dude, what the heck was that all about? They pick on me too." And I'm like, I had nothing to do with the suspension, but I'm not holding anything against you, and it was really bizarre because I want to understand. I saw there was something complex about Deadwood because he really felt like that he was a bullied kid. Yet here he was, and from my eyes, I didn't see any bullying happening to him. Not that I knew him well, but man, did he, he didn't mess around. But maybe that was part of it because he had his own troubles. He put up a very tough front, and to me, he came off as this bully that would knock me right down, not physically, but. So I don't know what to make of it. But then again, he met a pretty bad end. So
Yeah.
I felt
That
bad
sucks.
when I read about him in the paper.
You're like, oh crap.
Like, dude got stabbed. Ooh, no one deserves that. But
Well.
my dad didn't feel too much sympathy for him, though.
How old was he when that happened,
Apparently.
do you think?
He was probably in his. He was still pretty young when it happened. He
Yeah.
must have been in his 20s, maybe 30s. No, I think I was in college when I read about the stabbing. So he would have been in his 20s.
Oh,
Poor guy, killed in his 20s.
it messed with people's wives.
Still, that you don't deserve that. No one deserves that. So yeah, that was my high school experience. Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. You go through life just kind of thinking that everything's normal because why wouldn't it be? And
Normal for you, right?
and I still have my nostalgia for those years, but when I think back to places I'd like to visit, and I start thinking back to, if I had a chance to redo high school, would it be worth going back for the good times I had then? No. I am so glad to be done with that part of my life. Bon voyage, goodbye, don't come back.
Well, I mean, you have to remember all those things, right? Because
93 to 97, that is not a place I'm visiting.
but you have to remember all those things, because what else do you have to say to your therapist?
There was no.
I've been waiting an hour to say the line like that.
Well, I was in therapy during those years, and there was no lack of material every week on the couch. I mean, that was kind of. I suppose if my therapist taped those shows, taped those sessions, that would be the predecessor to the show in spirit.
Exactly. Or maybe you should contact the thing and say, "Did you tape those shows? Because I could put them on the
Can I
air."
have those now? I want
Dr.
those.
Godin didn't run a tape machine in his office. No.
Right.
Oh.
No.
That probably would have been frowned upon.
That
Nah.
you saw. It could have been hidden underneath the table.
Pretty sure he didn't.
That would have been doubly frowned upon.
Pretty
Oh.
sure he didn't.
Oh.
Darky writes in, Johnny can talk about his record player issues with people on Facebook. Yeah, that didn't go well. People wonder
That's
why
a good one, Sparky.
People wonder why I struggle to make friends.
That's right.
I have the Deadwood syndrome. I put up the tough front because I've put up with too many people's shit.
Right.
Is that called a standard IT job?
Maybe if I just invite a therapist to listen to my show every week, and
Yes.
instead
Oh.
of going to I'd like
Wait.
to go to therapy, but instead of paying for you to listen to me talk for an hour on your couch, let me just pay you to tune into my show every week, and then you just
Yes.
email me your
That's
notes.
right.
The problem is,
We
Gators,
don't pay for listeners. Oh, well, we do.
Gators, you can't have a therapist listen to the show. They'll try to commit all three of us.
Dude writes in, Johnny, you're so lucky I don't have the drive to change my Skype name anymore. Well, the thing is, if he did, he would have changed his Skype name to Deadwood before I mentioned the part about him getting stabbed.
Probably.
Be like, wow, you called beyond the grave because you know you're dead, right?
Like dead wood with a little halo around him or something. You know?
I just realized it's very poor taste to call him Deadwood, but that name my dad coined for him before he was dead, so it has nothing to do with him
Holy
being dead.
shit. Prophetic, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad called that one. Ugh, so many dead people in this story. It's... You really want to creep yourself out? Look up how many people in your graduating class of high school have died. Because then that boils down your life, your life status to a what's the word I'm looking for?
Hopefully, know the cheerleaders.
A
They were all very
statistic.
nice. Yeah, hopefully, know the cheerleaders. They're all very nice to me. So.
Like, oh man. Sparky writes in, what was his real name? What, Dave Wood?
Deadwood.
Dave was his real name. He was one
Yeah.
of the Daves I know. He was a Dave I know. And the last name is really Wood.
So Dave Wood, Deadwood, that's not a big stretch.
No, it's not. That was a pretty easy stretch.
I did have some classmates decide to die before graduating.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I just
One
had the
was not due to bullying, but one because his girlfriend had dumped him.
Oh.
Oh.
And you know what? I find it ironic that the last name I blew out in the story is the easiest one to spell. Because if I blew out that Rob's last name was Roblejo, I think you'd all be struggling with that one.
Rebollejo? Okay.
I think that's how it was said.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell it.
We had someone my senior year that decided to get in their brand new Mustang and show the girls how fast it went. So they went down the street at like 90
Oh,
miles
you had
an
a Timmy.
hour. Yeah, and they plowed into the back of a truck.
Ooh.
So they didn't survive that, and
Yeah.
neither the brand new Mustang.
This kid in my class was going at a high rate of speed. I think he was on a motorcycle, and he hit a parked car at a high speed.
Darn parked cars.
They just jump right out at you.
They do. They do.
Got to watch out for those parked
I mean,
cars.
like I said, it was
they're
it was a-
unpredictable.
It was one of those big giant. It's like one of those box crate trucks, are really big.
Yeah.
Like, so it was going into
No.
Lucky's
No.
basically. It was going
Zo-
into Lucky's, and the guy took his Mustang and
Yeah.
creamed it.
Zoe is a genius.
Well, yes, we
No.
know this, but
Get a Twitch therapist, and they can critique your channel on their channel, and you can charge them for the content.
Sweet
Oh my!
idea.
I love
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know that this is a great idea.
I think you can.
Thanks,
Now,
Zoe.
don't quote me, and I'm still getting stuff from Classmates.com, but I think Classmates.com we used to be able to tell you your year of graduation of high school and who's around and stuff. But
Yeah, I know that when I last looked up. Now, mind you, I was working at Tharco, and I looked up classmates info, and I saw there were 2 additional people in my class that had since died, in addition to the suicide I had while I was there.
Oh.
And one of them was a kid I sat next to in one of my religion classes who was always drawing things in his book, and I'm like, oh, how did he? Actually, no, 3 other people. Because then I looked it up because through Facebook I found out that a guy named Bill in my homeroom class, who actually went on to become a teacher, which blew my mind, had passed away. Some health condition, I think involving his heart, that just came out of nowhere or something. I don't.
Ooh.
And that was shocking. I'm like, I knew that guy. He was in my homeroom. He was. No, it was not spelled like that.
And I do know a lot of schools have like a Facebook that's like the class of blah 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 for your high school, and you'll be able to
Yeah,
look it up
my
for like
class
reunions
has
and
one.
stuff like that. And usually on the page they'll have like the one from my high school has one with like a Facebook group or something on it with that class, and yeah.
Yeah, I see the message. That's not how it was spelled, but Sparky. So, anyways, and then the other guy who had died since I went there was a guy that I actually spoke with a number of times. A guy by the name of Anthony. He sat next to me in Mr. Januzzi's English class because he was also kicked to the back of the classroom, and he didn't bully me. We actually got along. And
Cool.
even though we were in very different circles, very different types of kids, we did not run in the same circles. But somehow I think we got along because we were commiserating in the back of the room together, that we were stuck in the back of the room here. And I think I actually helped him on a few tests. And it was like the one and only time I would, because that was the type of thing I would never do. But this dude was being nice to me in this classroom full of bullies.
Sure.
So, of course you can have my
Sorry.
answers. Yes. So, but I was kind of getting along with him, and then when I was in therapy with the therapist, as opposed to being in therapy with a guy on the side of the road, my therapist and my parents were saying, we really ought to encourage you to make more friends. And so we would like to encourage you to invite people to bring home or to have over on the weekend to hang out with. And maybe your parents can offer you an incentive. If a new person comes home, you make a new friend, maybe there could be a cash incentive of some sort or something like that. But now don't go offering to split it with people like, hey, come hang out with me and there's like $5 in it for you. Basically there was pressure on for me to invite someone to come home for a Saturday and hang out a bit.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, Anthony, I had, because I was commiserating with Anthony in class, I mentioned, got to go see a therapist. He goes, oh, dude, my parents did that to me too. Who you seeing? I'm like, oh, some dude named Dr. Godin. That's the guy I saw. I refused to see him anymore after he started telling my parents to, take my stuff. Or I don't know. So then I next time I go to see him, I'm like, hey, did you know Anthony so-and-so? He's like, yeah, and
You
he
can't ask
kinda-
him anything. Confidentiality.
Well, he
but-
kind of had this hesitation, and he's like,
Yeah.
I kind of see that you'd be in different groups, but I could see how he would be nice to you.
Yeah, and that's all they're really allowed to say. They're not even allowed to say that, honestly.
So anyways,
Yeah.
So that me and him kind of got a little chatty in English class. So I'm like, hey, dude, this whole therapy thing, parents trying to.
You guys
encourage
are talking
people-
right in the middle of English class.
Well, maybe before class, towards the end of
Oh, I
class.
was gonna say, dude, you could do it
No.
during my class. My teacher had like eyes and
No.
ears in the back of their head. They would have got you.
Mind you, my English teacher couldn't hear all the kids call me Stuart and dealt with this by moving me to the back of the classroom. So
Either that she did hear you, but she didn't know what that meant.
you could do the math thing.
I had a teacher used to throw
But-
erasers at chalk erasers at us. So
Mm.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah, I've heard of that.
so I say to Anthony, look, come over one Saturday, hang out a bit. My parents will get off my case a bit, and maybe we'll have a good time. You know, he's like, yeah, sure, give me a call. Okay, here's my number. You know, okay, great. So, but wouldn't you know it that the weekend that I go to call him to invite him over is the same weekend that his parents find drugs in his room and check him into rehab, and
Oh. Snaps.
and then I didn't see him again for a few years. And I ran into him outside of a bowling alley when I was hanging out with Genocide Rob,
Oh.
and we shook hands like, "Hey, how have you been? Where have you been?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a recovering drug addict. I'm in a halfway house now," and so yeah, it kind of blew my mind when I read on like classmates that he's also has since passed, and I had to. Look
Oh,
for
that's a shame.
Yeah, I guess he kind of had a rough life. I think he continued to struggle with addiction through the rest of
You
his
think
life.
you OD'd?
I don't know if he OD'd, but I get he's certainly struggling with addiction. You're not going to lead a very healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I don't know what happened, but the things I found online alluded to he struggled with his life, and that yeah. So yeah, you know what? It's been a long time. I wonder how many other members of my graduating class have died since I last checked.
I don't know. I logged in. I signed up with the classmates.com when I first got a Yahoo account, and I don't know my password since the last however long it's been. So
yeah,
as soon as I signed up with
Well, you
it,
could probably
so-
just have it password reset.
Oh, you know what? My password's probably associated to my Yahoo account, so I probably have to get that password reset first.
There you
yeah.
go.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to ask a Yahoo hacker to give me back my email address, password.
Now Brian here was the only member of your graduating class that never smoked pot, right? Something like that.
You know,
I
I
don't
could probably say.
You know, pot wasn't common when I was in high school. Or
Oh, you
I
made it
didn't
sound
know
like
about
like
it.
I
And there was more drinking in high school. In college,
yeah.
pot was common.
Oh,
and I didn't
college
smoke
was
pot
where you
in
didn't
college.
smoke the
Yeah,
pot
I didn't smoke.
because you had
I wanted the
the
brain cells to function.
It does. I didn't smoke any pot in college either, or
I
high
didn't
school.
do it in high school or pot, but most of the kids I knew in my high school were my high school had money, so they were either doing pot or drinking, or there were some that did coke and
Yeah.
roids, and I'm just like, yeah, no, thank you.
Well,
though.
we did some drinking
Well-
in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some drinking in college, but not till senior year. Now, Jose wants to know where my senior photos are. Well, I guess I wonder, does Classmates let me look up? I'm pretty sure my yearbook is on Classmates.
Doesn't have your address on it, does it?
Let's see. I graduated.
Okay, you're going to go
in-
through and
Yeah.
reset your password. So,
Well, no, this will.
hey, it's almost time to raid.
What?
Let me see if I can do this without resetting my password. If I could just pull up the high school. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Oh no, it's not going to let me look at the yearbook unless I. Oh wow, they got a 1972 yearbook scanned in here. So yeah, you know what? Maybe next week we'll have my high school photo. But on that note, it is time to find someone to raid and once again talk about what we've learned here on.
Insert title here.
Although, what were we calling it this week? We were
I thought it was a lizard pooping on a rock or something.
something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Jose writes in, Coke is crazy to do in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
My
Anyways,
school had money. Well, the kids had money. The school didn't.
So Brian, you did learn something this week.
Yeah. Jewish Catholics is called a cashew? No.
Yeah.
Yes. That is what
You
you
learned
learned.
something.
Cashew.
Very good.
Now, is that a derogatory slur? Is that something you can get
It
charged with a hate
probably
crime
is.
for?
I don't
It
know.
probably is.
I mean, it's cashew Jewish, so or a Catholic Jewish person.
Some
I mean, you
of the
could be a
things that
cashew.
kids do as ball busting that they don't necessarily find
I don't know.
offensive is
I mean,
seen as offensive.
I'm gonna tell you, I
So-
stole from Saturday Night Live if it makes you feel any better. So does that count?
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that-
Oh, Sparky, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Sparky Toaster learned that Johnny's name is not Stewart. Very good.
Instead, it's Homer.
No. Don't. Mars, what have you learned this week?
I
Insert.
I learned that, and I also learned that you could get sulfuric acid shipped to you, but only UPS ground,
Yes.
Yes.
because that
And I-
crap ain't flying.
And I've learned that mentioning Vivian Gleason brings up a lot of baggage. But that's
Yeah.
okay, because tonight I'm just gonna turn this off, turn on the TV.
And Dune,
and-
you learned something too.
Oh, Dune learned something. I learned why Johnny's fuse is so short now. Oh, no. This wasn't the cause. This was the effect.
Oh my god!
But he's still in therapy.
They,
Yeah.
you know, they. I'm not. I should be, but I
Right.
I function fine without it.
Mhm.
No, the doctor said that, you know, everyone has their breaking point, and if you push someone to their breaking point, it's going to happen. But the doctor also said maybe we should work on the dosage of the medication, because if you get the dosage right, that will make that breaking point be a little harder to get to. I hated the medication, and so I sold the rest of it in college.
What, you sold it?
You'd be surprised what people will pay for Ritalin in college.
Oh, they still pay for Ritalin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
There's
So
a guy
you,
named-
you you put on the trench coat and you say, "Hey, you want to buy some Ritalin?"
Oh.
Well, I had a friend who was
Yeah.
desperate enough that he was talking about taking Robitussin to get a high that night, and I'm like,
Well-
dude, what do you? He's like, well, Dexedrine's good and Ritalin, and I'm like, dude, I'll sell you the rest of what I got. What's the street value these days? And I'm like, dude, here you go.
He probably gave you like $50 too little.
He was a good guy. I didn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
It was a one-time deal. Just here's what I
Hey,
have
on
left
Robitussin,
over.
that stuff will put you to sleep, right?
You know, I found that when I took the Dexedrine, it made me kind of feel blah. And I didn't
Oh.
like that.
Like pot?
No, just kind of blah. I really
Okay.
don't care. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
like an Ativan.
Well, basically, one time when I was going to go hang out with Genocide Rob and Doogie, they could rile me up sometimes because no one knows how to push your buttons like your friends. And
Of course.
after a particularly explosive night hanging out with them, but they're friends, so we all forgive each other at the end of the night. But I decided next time I'm going to hang out with them, I'm taking some of these pills before I go hang out with them because I don't feel like getting worked up and screaming at them tonight. And they told me don't ever do that again. You're no fun.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You know what that means? That means they worked.
Well, but I was having no fun either. They dragged the life out of me. Now, mind you, I figured it out because I knew that the dosage could widely range, and I knew that if it wasn't really working that well, that the next answer, whenever they asked the doctor, was to try to up. They had me on 20 milligrams at some point.
Oh, dude, you take like 7. You take like 5.
So at some point, I every now and then I would try to take like 30 or 40 milligrams, and when I took 40 milligrams, that's when I could really feel the effect, and that's when I understood what it was doing to me. it kind of just put me in this state of like blah. It kind of slowed down the life in me, and that's I saw that as such a negative thing. I didn't ever want to take that shit again once I figured out what it was doing to me. Now that said, I'm not a doctor, and not I don't want to come down negative on pills, because there are some kids that really need some help to focus in school and function in society.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I'm anti the drugs. Did not like that. All right, let's find someone to raid.
Okay.
Wow, not a whole lot live right now. The Gek
What?
is live. Let's see. Oh, we haven't rated Ray Rachel in a while. Let's you know, there's nothing like rating Ray Rachel and having her be like positive about my rating her and liking me to make me feel like a cool kid in high school. So let's go ahead.
Right.
He was a cool kid in high school.
Ray Rachel likes me. I'm like a cool kid in high school, you know? Yeah, you know what? All right. So Sparky saying, great stream, Giant. Thank you so much. We're going to go raid. Come back next week. We will be here. And you all have a nice evening and a nice week. And
Yep.
tell Ray Rachel I said hi.
Yeah. Don't listen to Santa Dogs.
And there we go.
Don't do it.
I saw it. I saw somebody posted it. I think I saw it